to say about Nick Fuentes, because we're going to the next story. And Charlie Kirk said he would never work with Nick. And I'm going to tell you, Nick is definitely grifting off of his death.
Everybody dissenting from the right. When are we going to have more nationalists? Instead of just engaging with the left, now that the Biden administration has invaded our country, when are we going to build a big tent with nationalists like Jerry Taylor and Nick Fuentes?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't align with Jew haters. Sorry. Thank you. I'll talk to anybody. You want to tell me why do you hate the Jews, by the way? Like, what do you think of Jewish people?
No, I think they have a disproportionate influence in American politics. However, I do find it interesting that you trot out these far left.
I'll talk to anybody, but one of the people you mentioned says we should have a holy war against the Jews. Do you believe that?
I believe we need to spread the light
yes
of Christ
or no?
to the entire world.
Do you believe in a holy war against the Jews? Yes or no?
I believe in fighting for Christ. And I believe that Jerusalem should be Christian.
Christ was a Jew.
Christ is king.
I agree Christ is king, but yes or no? This is not a trick question.
Do you
believe in a holy war against the Jews? Yes or no? Not a trick question.
Do you think we should try to convert
Why?
Yes, I try to convert everyone to Christianity. I try to convert Dennis to Christianity. I try to do it every day. It's the Great Commission.
But you know
what? Here's what I'm not going to put up with. I'm not going to put up with Jew hatred. In the conservative movement, in America, I'm not going to put up with that in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to put up with it. And I'm not going to put up with it. It's disgusting. It's reprehensible.
Now that everyone agrees with me, I will graciously forgive them.
All right, you win.
So, Blake, with everything that I'm sure you've been seeing online, because I can tell you keep up with politics, do you see what I'm saying about unifying with the right now? Do you think Nick Fuentes would have ever been able to go sit with Tucker Carlson had C. Kirk not been unalived?
Well, I think Trump in general has changed our norms to allow things like that to happen. It was just a year ago the Republicans were having a meltdown because people were accusing them of being Nazis. It was a month ago that the private chats came out, and son of a gun, they call themselves Nazis. So I don't think that Charlie Kirk being unalived is why Nick Fuentes is in the fold. I think the Trump administration has been making an effort to cast a wide net and get as many conspiracy theories as possible into its big tent to support his reelection campaigns. I don't think that was just because of Charlie Kirk. I think that's more because of Donald Trump.
Well, just right before C. Kirk got alive, Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson were in a beef. And here's the clip of them talking about who's a Fed.
I'm Fed. I was,
and I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever, I don't care what people think.
We showed each other a badge as we know well.
No, but I thought you were a Fed because I was like, why not? It's not cucking to say you're not talking about all Jews when you oppose a foreign policy position. It's not. There's nothing liberal about that. It's just true. That's the Christian position, okay? And two, why are you attacking like the best people and not the worst people?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, he disavowed me for my views on Israel and said I talk too much about white people and Christianity. And to me, that's like a sincere ideological disagreement. I get it. And, same thing with Marjorie. Marjorie fired my guy. She disavowed me. And, and you worked with Blumenthal on that article, but you called me on the phone and we talked.
Yeah, I mean,
I
was like, what? From my perspective, I mean, this is all so stupid and inside baseball and whatever, but for the record, I was like, first of all, who is this kid? I'm working at Fox News. I'm aware there's an internet, but I'm more out of it than you may appreciate. And I'm like, out of nowhere, attacking this one. I had Joe Kent here to my house and did this interview with him. And I'm always in search of a sincere politician. Don't have to agree on everything, but I really believe sincerity is the whole game. If someone's heart is pure, he will be brave. I always have thought that, and it's turned out to be true. Marjorie's a perfect example. And that's all that matters. If you're afraid inside, if you're weak inside, you will crumble when it matters. So I really felt like, wow, Joe, I don't agree with him on everything, of course, but I was like, this guy is really sincere. He's like a good person. And then you show up and you're like, he's a CIA officer, and he was a CIA contractor, but really crush the guy. And it's like, why, of all people, you agree on 90% of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was my view. And I was
Right.
like, well, clearly this kid's a Fed.
Right. But you didn't know the whole story.
I didn't. You're absolutely right.
And look, and now that, and I want to be, I'm not trying to be combative. I think that.
Go ahead. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
I mean, here's what I'm trying to say is now that Marjorie is pushing in the right direction, I absolutely support everything she's saying. And I've not been critical of her at all this year.
Yeah.
Because I think that what she's doing is extremely courageous. And I think you're right. She is sincere.
So it sounds like you're, not to put words in your mouth, but your life experience has left you so stung.
So Mia, who's the Fed?
They all are. Is this a question? They all are. Everybody's in on the take. People need to stop looking at it in terms of left versus right. It doesn't matter. It's the elites versus us. It's always going to be the elites versus us. Left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. It is legitimately all an illusion. And they've been doing it for centuries in this country. Because back in the day, they didn't even want to have the American Revolutionary War. The rich people had to convince the poor people to fight for them because they didn't want to do that because they're like, why? I have land, I have farming, I'm good. So, I mean, they're all feds. And it's super weird that they just won't admit to being feds. It's like, we know, come on. Like Tucker Carlson literally grew up in DC and he wears that as a badge of honor. His father was also a Fed. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had some uncles and cousins that are feds. I mean, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, I agree. And this next clip, I'm going to have Enzo respond to. This is him. This is Charlie. This is Nick Fuentes talking about Charlie Kirk.
Whether Charlie Kirk saw it this way or not, we will finish what he could not, what he cannot, because he was murdered. Whether he likes it or not, whether he liked it when he was alive or not, we have to take it from here. The far right actually has to take it from here. The moderate right that would do anything in their power to prevent the real right, the real America First from rising up. You see where that has gotten us. You see where that got him. And I don't say that to be cute. I say that because that's the reality. The moderate conservatism got him killed. The moderate conservatism got us BLM raging through the streets while Trump was the president. It's giving us this dynamic. We need to fight to win. We can't fight not to lose against the left. We need to fight to win. We need to crush the establishment. And then once we take over the Republican opposition, we need to crush the left. And anything short of that, this country is over. What this country needs is to close the borders. It needs re-migration. These people gotta go. 10 million in 4 years? They're here forever? I don't think so. They have to be removed. And the left-wing scum that are standing in the way of law enforcement, they need to be imprisoned for a long time. The insurrection needs to be put down. Order needs to be restored. And these billionaire oligarchs, the money power, which is inciting this civil conflict in the media with politics, the special interests preventing the government from doing what is necessary, they need to understand that the country comes first. The national power must supersede the money power. The national power that comes from the people and their benefit and the public interest has to take priority over the special interest that is financed by Wall Street, by Silicon Valley, by venture capital, private equity. The national power must take precedence over the money power. Anything short of that.
So Enzo, I go back to my first question that I asked. Would Nick Fuentes have been interviewed by Tucker Carlson had Charlie Kirk not been unalived?
Not at all. Not at all. We got the greatest hits of the two people in the world that were not relevant before, but now want to be relevant, trying to talk about Charlie Kirk. That's all we got tonight. Two has-beens that missed their prime. You got one that's grifting off Charlie Kirk's death, and then you got the other who's a literal Nazi saying they going to pick up what Charlie Kirk was doing. No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't even try it, bro. Trust me, the Republican Party ain't rallying behind you. If you want to take your incels and your little people that are scum of the earth, and you guys want to do an uprising and say this is the Republican Party, this is the Republican Party, now you're gonna be shut down immediately. We do not condone you. We want nothing to do with you. There's no Nazis in the United States. You know what? I'll be Antifa at that point. Just take down fucking Nick Fuentes and his little group of retards as they are. Sorry for my language, but that's another person that I don't hate anybody, but he is the one person I literally despise and hate with a burning fucking passion.
I think.
Hey, that's two things we agree on. Look at us, Enzo. Not us agreeing on a second thing. It's crazy. It really is.
What is going on today?
The pigs are flying, y'all.
Hey Enzo, I got a quick question, real quick. How old are you, real quick? If you don't mind me asking.
28.
28. Okay. Nah, I say that because I think people really did. I don't think people acknowledge like the demographic of who people like Nick Fuentes or even Trump and JD Vance and Pete Hegseth are speaking to. People discredit or kind of throw under the blanket the young white male that the young white loser male who gravitates towards people like Nick Fuentes, people like that crowd. When Trump's made why do you think Pete Hegseth is like this administration just feels so childish? It's because they're trying to appeal to the youth, the Gen Alpha, the meme generation. You know what I'm saying? That's why Trump tweets out like they troll. They seem so unprofessional. They're far from because they use Charlie. He had he had a lot of influence over college campuses and things like that. Nick Fuentes speaks to that demographic. They were the ones that pushed heavily during his election cycle on social media, on places like Twitter and stuff like that, that allowed him to get out what misinformation and kind of like the political scenery that we have now is due to that demographic of young white males. So I think people need to start taking them and people like Nick Fuentes' rhetoric more serious, because they're not talking to people like you. They're talking to that generation coming after us. And
exactly.
I think that's a little, because like you have boomers about to be in the dirt in the next 15, 20 years. Millennials, we're just kind of like in the fucking middle. They're trying to get that younger demographic and kind of pour into them, in my opinion, what they did to like my age group to get us to go fight the fucking war on terror. For this next cycle of whatever the resource fighting they're about to do, they have to prep those young white boys specifically to go. You have Pete Hegseth in front of military fucking generals talking about FAFO. Like, what do we do? But he wasn't talking to them. He was talking to those young white boys that they're trying to rally.
Or young white boys that are 60 years old, right? But you're dead on, right? He's talking to a specific demographic in a specific style. It wasn't for the generals. It was for that group you talked about.
I just want to add, I know Enzo disavowed him as a conservative. I read somewhere that his last name is Fuentes because his dad's Mexican. As a Mexican, I speak for all Mexicans. I disavow him as a Mexican. We disown him completely. He's not associated.
He's Mexican, Italian, and Irish.
He's Peruvian.
He's not Italian. Right? We don't claim him.
No, he's Mexican.
Neither do we.
I got to say, I feel like I need to take a shower after listening to him.
Well, it'll get even worse. This is what he had to say about porn, and he's talking down to young men, and he's an incel. He's not married, no girlfriend. Let's watch.
Something that is almost never talked about is that this is a generation that's totally sexually dysfunctional, I think, because of pornography. And some people are able to cope with it. Some people don't have a problem. But I think a lot of people, and maybe even a small minority, have a serious problem with it. And
how does it make people sexually dysfunctional?
I think that it's impossible for a real woman to compete with the availability and the novelty of pornography. A real woman, like without getting graphic, she's only one person, and she's Maybe she wants to do something sexual. Maybe she doesn't. Porn is, you could have 100 different women in one sitting doing anything that whatever niche or idiosyncratic thing a person might be into, it's there. And so I think that novelty combined with that availability, it makes it so that, when you think about courting a woman, juice isn't worth the squeeze. And so there's like also a problem of like erectile dysfunction, people that can't enjoy regular sex because it does not compare to the intensity, the novelty, and the availability of porn. It's hyper stimulation. And so I think that's sabotaging a lot of normal sexual relationships.
It seems like it's making a lot of people gay too.
Yeah, and trans.
You think that's true?
100%.
What is that?
I think that the novelty is a huge part of that. I think that if you are somebody that uses pornography multiple times per day, which many people do.
Actually?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a lot of jerking off.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And, if you're doing that multiple times a day, every day, for years, since you're a kid, well, eventually you get bored and you want to move on to something more extreme. And you're kind of, it operates, I think, similar to like a drug. You kind of have the same kind of resistance to it that you would to a drug, or a tolerance for it. And you're always chasing that initial feeling the first time you used it or the first time you saw a certain thing. And I think eventually you just chase more taboo, more transgressive. And I think maybe some people are more prone to that than other people, going in a really extreme direction.
Is how Charlie Sheen got AIDS, actually.
Yeah.
Through just being jaded and looking for something more transgressive. That's just a fact.
And there's something too about what it does when you look at it. Because people don't realize that it is a fundamentally different experience being involved in intercourse versus watching other people have intercourse. And I think that actually does something to you.
Tell me, what do you mean?
I think that, for example, I think Steve Saylor has written about this, that there's multiple kinds of transsexuals. And he says that one kind of transsexual is somebody that likes the idea of seeing themselves as a woman. It's autogynephilia.
Yes.
And I think that, one of the theories for that is you watch a man having sex with a woman that isn't you so much, you kind of achieve an identity with the woman in like a weird, sick way. You almost identify with the woman. And so there's weird things that happen when you're watching that and having such strong emotional and sexual experiences with it.
Okay, Gray. So what's your thoughts on what he said? Why do you agree with him? Do you think that we have a porn problem in this country? He's also represents the young incels that don't want girlfriends, can't get girlfriends. What do you think?
They have advocacy groups for that if you're struggling with sex addiction. I'm not going to say that that's a major problem for, everyone, but I think that some people need it. People are in monogamous relationships. So I think that helps people stay faithful in their relationships. And, kids going through puberty, having to discover themselves. So, you can't destroy one thing because it's just affecting a small few people.
Interesting. Well, this next clip, I'm going to get Skeptic to come in on. This was JD Vance last night talking about how close he was with Charlie Kirk.
Where Charlie Kirk called me, and guys, he was mad. It was one, I wouldn't say the last conversation that I had with him, but it was in the last few months of his life. And he called me and he said, JD, I'm really worried. I'm really worried that what's going on in the Middle East right now is going to lead the United States into a protracted military conflict. I've never told anybody that Charlie was really worried about that in the final months of his life. Now, here's the thing. Charlie was so effective and he was so trusted by both me and the President of the United States that when Charlie made that phone call, I didn't say, screw you, you don't know what you're talking about. I listened to him. And I really believe that one of the reasons why the President of the United States knocked out the Iranian nuclear facilities, but never got the United States into a protracted military conflict and never lost a single American in a Middle Eastern conflict is because we had the wisdom and the good sense to recognize that the American people are done with American troops dying in unnecessary foreign conflicts. But Charlie Kirk reminded me of that. Charlie Kirk.
Skeptic, what do you think about how close JD Vance was with Charlie Kirk? What's your thoughts?
Well, he did go on his podcast after his unaliving. So I do think that there was a close relationship with that. I will say this. This is funny. I think that when someone talks a lot about a subject, a lot of the time that tends to be like kind of what they're interested in. And I have noticed that the Republicans as a whole tend to focus intently on like trans people and the LGBTQ movement. And when you look at like studies, I had a friend who had like a doctorate in like social psychology. She had actually said that there were newer studies showing that, porn basically helped with people not committing sexual assaults, which is like interesting. I've never really looked into it. Just kind of right now with the conversation, it reminded me of that. But I will say the Grindr app broke in Milwaukee when the RNC was happening there. So I think that some people that are obsessed with this topic are having like an internal battle within themselves because they are just like honed in on this. Like I've never heard this being spoken of so much until like recently. Like an obsession of like speaking on people and like their orientation and what they identify as. Like I care, but at the end of the day, like it's like a subject that's like kind of I don't talk about a lot. I'm not like obsessed with it. It just seems like there's an obsession with it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Skeptic. I definitely that study is real, Skeptic. I've heard of that study, so I know the one you're talking about. So this next clip is regarding basically Tucker Carlson, what he had to say about Christian Zionism.
Explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that. John Bolton. I mean, I've known them all. George W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen like be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish. Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are, well, Christian Zionists. Like, what is that?
Right.
And I could just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody, because like what? Because it's Christian heresy, and I'm offended by that as a Christian. That's why. So I don't like. Why not? Like, I'm pissed at the neocons. Very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq. And so like I went and asked straightforward questions to Ted Cruz because that seemed like he was a sitting senator who's like serving for Israel by his own description. He seemed like a worthy target. I'm not going after MTG, who's like the most sincere like, why not go after Ted Cruz? I don't understand.
So Kimberly, what's your thoughts regarding everything that you've seen with Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes? In particular, do you think that Nick would have been on the show had Charlie Kirk not been on a lot?
That's a loaded question. It's a very loaded question. Forgive me. I grew up in a Zionist Christian church. I think it has less to do with religion than it does with geopolitics. Tucker Carlson is right on some foreign policy issues. He's evolved a lot. Would he have had Nick Fuentes on? I'm not sure, but I do think that there is a normalization of Nick Fuentes. Dave Smith had him on his podcast too. I couldn't get through more than like 20 minutes of it. I don't like his voice. And the way he talks about sex too is like, you can tell he's probably not very sexually active. Like who the fuck says intercourse? That is so weird. And then there's also another clip of that same interview where Nick Fuentes is telling Tucker Carlson that he has frustrations with women because he quoted some, I guess, female who says that the woman should worship her man. And Tucker Carlson corrected him. He's like, you don't want a woman to worship you. This guy's such a fucking loser. But yeah, I am very saddened by the Christian Zionist movement. I think that as a Christian, it's antithetical to the true message of Christ, which was a complete pacifist and socialist. But yeah, I would never have watched this much of the Tucker and Nick if you hadn't played those clips for me, because
Me
it's
too.
just,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, he's such a weirdo. There's just so much to unpack with the whole Christian Zionist topic. Like, we should do a whole show on just that. It's just so it's very sad.
Yeah, we've touched on it a lot. I am a Christian. We've touched on it a lot. We'll do some more now that you're here, Kim, because Skeptic is a Christian too, and she knows. So now I feel like I'll have.
I also want
balance
to
that
clarify.
conversation.
Yeah, I also agree that sometimes the way that certain people like Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson, the way that, not so much Tucker, he's more careful with his words, but Nick Fuentes in particular is a fucking Nazi. He is hateful. He is a stupid person. He does say a lot of dumb shit. And we need to be careful with how we talk about not just the religion of Judaism, but also the Jewish people and the Israeli people. We should never talk like that about other people. And this Nick Fuentes he's just a fucking weirdo. And I'm sure he doesn't get a lot of pussy. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, the way he talks about it. So
yeah, we let me be clear. The new party, we draw the line. It's not all Jewish people. It's not all Israeli people. It's the Zionist government that is in control of that state that has caused where we're at right now in the world. And this person says it best in their super chat. It's more than just the NJF on Tucker. The silencing of Charlie Kirk realigned the entire conservative media, but somehow the left is in denial. W. Michael, that was the point I was trying to get across. Blake, what's your response to that?
I don't know. I think Charlie Kirk's unaliving is just going to be a blip. It was 3 news cycles and then it was gone. Yes, they'll do memorials to him and look back on it, but everything moves so fast. The news moves so fast. I just have a hard time thinking there was any conspiracy behind it. I have a hard time thinking he was anything more than a symptom of a larger geopolitical movement. I don't know. I think Trump was going to the racist right all on his own. I don't think that had anything to do with Charlie Kirk. Nick Fuentes visited the White House the last time, didn't he?
Yeah, but you don't know anything about Nick Fuentes. I'm gonna be real with you. Nick Fuentes was cheering on how he's gonna make Trump lose. He's no longer a Trump supporter. He actually is celebrating every Trump loss that Trump has because he didn't want people to vote for Trump. Because what happened in Palestine and Israel was part of his prediction that Trump is a Zionist to the T, and he's going to sell out America for that $200 million that Mary Adelson gave to him. Now, let me be clear. I think he is a Nazi. I'm agreeing with you on that. But he is very knowledgeable when it comes to geopolitics. And he's been very clear he does not support Trump.
But he's not, right? He's taken bits and pieces of things to weave these incredible conspiracy theories, but he is not a fact-based person. And when he says these things, they might have a nugget of truth here and there. It's generally made up stuff or conspiracy theories. I mean, Nick Fuentes.
Well, Blake, he's on your side. He believes that it's a lone gunman that unalived Charlie Kirk. So he's not that big of a conspiracy theorist. He's believing what the Trump admin is telling us.
He seemed to be suggesting he thought that it was Israel that had killed him. Did I miss that?
He would, depending on where he goes, he's saying that at this point.
All right, and so again, back to the credibility. He just says whatever he thinks is going to get views. He has no coherent worldview. He's just a guy who makes things up on the fly, trying to get attention, and he's clearly good at it. But yeah, I'm with you. I have never listened to this much Nick Fuentes in my life, and I'm 61 years old, and hopefully the next session will not be on this because I'm about done listening to this guy. He is a goofball and he is a racist. I'm of a generation that learned that people that were racist were either weak-minded or weak-charactered. And he is probably both. And I hate to say that, something negative about another human being. He is not somebody I would choose to listen to in any situation about any topic.
Were you a Charlie Kirk fan?
No, my gosh. I thought he was a goofball too.
All right, guys, the next super chat. Thank you, Michael. The girl in the bottom screen is the only one that did their homework. But yeah, okay. Thank you. Mia did her homework too. The thing is this, Fuentes Blake, is whether people don't want to acknowledge it or not. Mia, am I wrong? Many of these young boys are looking to him. They moved from Charlie Kirk. They moved now to Nick. Am I wrong, Mia? Because you got a young son.
No. So, yeah, I do. I have a teenage son. So what was the first thing that I said to you and Enzo? As like, Charlie Kirk we just watched Charlie Kirk take one to the throat. We're all talking together. And the first two things I say is, one, this appears to be an inside job. The second one, this is going to create a power vacuum. And you can quote me on this because I said it here a few weeks ago or a month ago, right after it happened. I said this is going to create a power vacuum within the conservative movement. And we're going to see the rise of Nick Fuentes because we're going to have a lot of angry young men. And what have we seen now? Angry young men and the rise of Nick Fuentes through that power vacuum, because now Charlie's gone. And I kept saying, I'm like, Charlie was Charlie was a moderate. He was willing to come to the table, willing to speak with you, and willing to be decently respected. He was definitely a moderate compared to what is out there. Have you seen Milo?
Oh, okay.
Compared to the people out there, Charlie Kirk was absolutely a Christian moderate. And at least he was willing to be decently respectful to you when you stepped up to the podium to speak with him. Now we're going to have a new crop of young men that are incels. And Nick Fuentes is the racist Nazi leader of the incels, which are involuntarily celibate men. Because, as Kimberly said, they can't get pussy. So
it's
for her.
A historical analogy. One of the reasons that people speculated that Japan was so warlike was they had all of these... what were their fighters? They had a lot more men than women, and they used foreign interventions as a way of kind of reducing their supply of men, their oversupply of men.
Yeah.
Well, at least this is what Charlie Kirk stood on. Then we could do closing.
Stop talking. Really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilizations stop talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option. When people stop.
So he kept the conversation going. And with that being said, I want to thank our guests for coming. Benny, what's your closing thoughts?
I appreciate y'all letting me come on here. And I mean, Candace and Tucker Carlson are definitely both grifters because they both got kicked off of their platforms.
Hold on, Benny. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the right goddamn sound effect for you. Yep, goddamn right. There you go.
Because they were both riding that MAGA wave when that money was coming in, but when he got in trouble at Fox and she got kicked off the gravy train, that's where we are now.
Benny, where can they find you? I know you have 2 pages.
Benny Ray 3 or the one that is tagged under my name. I've been arrogant. Those would be my 2 TikToks, but I'm mostly on this one right here.
Well, thank you for coming, Benny. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Blake, I appreciate
y'all. Where can they find you and what's your closing thoughts?
At Blake Ashby on TikTok is my only TikTok account, and then the website. Appreciate the chance to engage in the conversation. It's to Charlie Kirk's credit, he did try and talk to a lot of people, and it's always fun. It's always enjoyable to actually have a conversation with people that you don't necessarily agree with, as long as it's civil and as long as views are exchanged. So thanks for the chance to be part of this.
Yeah, thanks, Blake. Usually we don't have so many people. We definitely got to bring you back, probably on the man cave night where it's
I got a question. So y'all want my thoughts on the interview? Because I got left out like a redheaded stepchild.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Come on, go ahead, go next.
I watched the whole interview too. All that hunky explaining they were doing. It's okay. We could do everybody else closing thoughts. You feel me? Because I wrote down questions too. At the list, and Blake and Kimberly, y'all missing out listening to this interview. This shit was a shit show. This was hilarious. I thought it was funny as hell what they were saying. God damn. Like, bruh, I'm gonna be honest. I think Nick Fuentes wants to get pounded in the ass. Because he said that, oh, you start imagining yourself as the woman when you watch the porn.
Yeah, I heard that.
Excuse me, sir?
Well, you don't know the rumor. Hey, come on. You don't know the rumor of him and Destiny?
The furries.
Hell no.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
And I'll let you stay on your closing thoughts so the people can know. Allegedly, there's a video of Destiny with some man, and there's a hand in the video, and allegedly it's Nick Fuentes, and they were in a hot tub together. And Destiny openly admits that he's bisexual, so it's not like a lie.
Damn, so Destiny was smacking the Mexican cheeks for sure. Damn, y'all go check out the new party. I got it pinned to the top of my chat. Y'all go check out the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. Also, shout out to the chat. Eric, thank you for the compliment with the glasses. Beans was in the chat, Heaven was in the chat. I think Doc was in the chat too. RJ, I see you, bro. A couple dweebs was in the chat too. Red Kid, stop sticking carrots up your dog ass and shut the hell up. Katie Pablo, the only view that I like is a view of your mama titties, man. Anyway, back to this funny ass interview that I did have questions about. So one of the I wrote questions down. Let me put my glasses on. Shit, man, because it's dark in here now. First of all, and I looked at this interview through a comical lens because I already know how they feel about Black Americans. So we don't even need to go down that line. But I looked at this shit through a comical lens. And first of all, I was like, does porn make you gay? Apparently, to Nick Fuentes, it does. Is Nick Fuentes the Tupac of Republicans? The reason why I asked that is because this motherfucker, Nick Fuentes, was scorned. He was like, hold on, y'all don't want me? Oh, shoot them all up then. I'm telling y'all should have listened to the interview. He was out there like, I don't fuck with this person, and now I'm right. Look at blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's another question I had. I said, is this just the feds working together? I mean, Mia already said they both are the feds. I agree with Mia. When Nick Fuentes and Kevin Samuels been friends, Nick Fuentes started complaining about women not cooking. Kevin Samuels did that too. I guess Nick Fuentes is, eating the red pill. But RIP to Kevin Samuels, you feel me? He did care about the Black community. It was just sometimes in a certain way that some people found it abrasive. And my last question is, was Nick Fuentes a victim of white on white crime? When he got somebody came to his house with a gun, a loaded gun, by the way, you feel me, to bloop his ass. The assailant was a white man. So, was he a victim of white on white crime? I need these answers. I would love to talk to Nick Fuentes and Tucker the Fish Face Carlson. I have a lot more questions, but we'll just start out with those. If y'all want to find me, Kamal Johnson Network on YouTube, hit the notification bell on both channels so you know when we go live, you feel me? Thank you to our guests, you feel me? Benny, appreciate you, bro. Blake, I appreciate you too. Don't let that boomer comment get you sad, bro. I saw the sadness in your eyes when Benny was like, the boomers are almost in the dirt. It's okay. You 61 years old young, brother. All right. Also, everybody else has YouTube channels and TikTok channels. Y'all go follow them and stuff. And Enzo is right. We just heard the greatest hit from the grifters. We're going to call them the Griftonies. I'm done, man. Shit, y'all could, yeah.
Wow. I'm so sorry I skipped you. My bad. Ladies,
okay.
Next. I got thrown off. It's a lot moving parts tonight. Kimberly, what's your closing thoughts?
Man, I was cracking up so hard right now. I don't even remember what I was gonna say. I love that you featured Sabby Sabs. Sabrina Salvati and I are up to par on the third party wave. Vote third party. Please leave the Democratic Party. They're clowns. And then what else was I gonna say? Damn, that Kamal is hilarious. He is hilarious.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you said that you think Nook Fuentes wants to get pounded in the ass. I just want to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting pounded in the ass. There's nothing wrong with being gay or trans. I think his problem is he wants to get beat the fuck up. Like, he should get his ass beat. That motherfucker needs to get his ass beat. A él le hace falta una buena cachetada, la verdad. He probably didn't get reprimanded when he was a little kid, and you could see that the way he talks. Oh, he's so gross. I'm gonna go like some
Take a shower.
Shower. Yeah, exactly.
So I never watch him long form. I can't. Like, he's so disgusting. And I also agree that Charlie Kirk did at least try to engage in the discourse, even though I agreed with him on almost a lot of everything. That was it. I tried to find Blake on Instagram. I couldn't find him. I wish I was more active on TikTok, but I did follow you both on TikTok. It was nice meeting you all. And everybody have a good evening. Peace and love.
Thank you, Kimberly. That was very nice. Skeptic, did you hear what Kimberly said? I need translation now that we got somebody else speaking Spanish. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Oh man. All right.
He needs to get his face, like, his mama didn't smack him enough. He needs to get his ass beat.
Enzo, what's your closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts are, this is a great episode of the greatest hits of the grifters. Like I said before, the grift homies, as Candace and Nick, all I really say is they just need to go somewhere and never show their face again. Just stop. I'm so sick and tired of hearing their voices. They literally know the crap out. With that being said, I hope everybody has a great night and happy Halloween tomorrow. Everybody stay safe, get a lot of candy, and have a good night.
Yeah, get that candy. That might be all some people got in their house to eat. Skeptic, I'm being funny, but being serious. November 1st. What's your thoughts?
I think it was a good episode. I can't believe that y'all got me and Enzo agreeing on one thing. This was the grifter episode. We were talking about a bunch of grifters. And I think, like, for Candace, if you're willing to spread misinformation about your own community, like, I don't trust you. I don't know what it is that you stand for nothing and you'll fall for anything. And the fact that, I was kind of on the boat of whatever the stuff she was saying, the questions she was asking. I think that the way that she has kind of stuck on bringing this up as a topic has become kind of like inauthentic. Like, you're now using this and you're now trying to build on this every episode. You're trying to make a whole series out of it. It's kind of weird. So I see the grifter from like a mile away. I think Nick Fuentes is disgusting. I don't know. I know nothing of him. I think the first time I heard of him was on here. And then I went on this whole thing. I saw one of the police recordings, the body cams of someone who came to his house. And he seemed so sad. And after that, I saw his interview with Candace Owens when he was talking about he can't have regular relationships because, like, women won't talk to him. Like, people don't like him because of what he stands on. And I actually felt like I get where the anger comes from. I get where he has all of this, like, frustration that's pinned up that he wants to put on the left. And he, like, makes he's like really hateful, like really has hate in his heart. And it has nothing to do with us that you can't get women. Like, that's not our fault that you can't get a date. Happy Halloween to everyone. Check us out on TikTok. We're currently, there's 2 big lives that we are currently on. Casso's live and then Sajada's live, she's currently live on TikTok right now. We host live panels and they get really, really interesting on topics that we talk about all the time. Politics, current politics, political issues. So check us out on there. And the chat needs to hit the like more. You guys comment and have all these comments about crazy stuff, but you don't hit the heart. So chat, you need to do better on that. If you can comment, you can hit that little heart button in the chat. So anyways, you guys have a good night. Happy Halloween.
Man, Andy,
right, Skeptic, tell him.
Yeah, tell him, Skeptic. Andy, shut the hell up. Only thing low class is the men that your mom give the puss to. I'm tired of these niggas in the chat today. God damn. Some of y'all cool though. I already shouted y'all, but some of y'all been talking out y'all ass. I'm tired of y'all. Goodness gracious.
Mia, what's your closing thought?
Indeed, this was another great episode. Thank you to our guests for coming and being on here with us, and we have shared many laughs. Thank you so much. I already follow you, Benny, and Blake, I will go on and follow you on TikTok tonight. It was very nice meeting both of you. And I think, and I've said this multiple times, at the end of the day, it is always us versus them. It is always the 99.999%, which is everybody on this panel, our friends and family, and the regular, smegular Americans versus the elites. And don't get stuck on left, right, moderate, this, that. At the end of the day, it's always us versus them. And we need to come together to be the us, because that's the only way we're going to win against them. And before I log off, I just want to say happy early Samhain to everybody. And don't forget, tomorrow the veil is thin. Be careful what you wish for. Light your candles. Put out your apples and your candy for the gods.
Yeah, so I'll make it brief. Thank you guys for coming. Shout out to Blake and Benny. Please go support them and support their lives and their shows and their content. Great stuff. This was a great panel. And I'll say this. I'm going to meet Blake in the middle. I do think Candace is grifting. I'm going to tell you why. I feel like what Candace does is she puts nuggets of things out and then she never connects the dots. And then when she finally connects them, it makes absolutely zero sense. And that's why, like, it's like throwing things out and seeing what sticks on the wall. Like her latest thing today really was like wild. So I say go check out her stuff. But thank you to everyone for supporting. Shout out to Michael for sending the super chats. God bless. Good night.
Whoa. You serious?
Oh, wait.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Are you serious, bro?
Sorry.
Guess it saved the best for last. First off, shout out to me. And I forgot my final thoughts since I was about to be skipped. Thank you, Benny and Blake, for coming. Benny, yeah, I saw your content from Fangirl, Mia, and Slim. So that to the cast, if you see people you want to have on the show, send them to the chat. I know people been asking for different people to come. Just ask for the people. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And keep rocking with us like we always say on a new party, always vote.